Remember the way you started your first successful business? The vibe was so set in the beginning. It was so good. The real question you should be asking, what really changed? Look, I'm not here to give you the answer. That is your journey to do. I am going to ask more questions and I'm going to give you more irritation, the more itch. Because I think that itch, that irritation will lead you to the most obvious part and the most simple part as well. So let me start with something very simple. My question is, what if you start asking quality questions? And what are those quality questions? Let's dive in. So how asking better questions changes your life? So it's obvious that your life is not controlled by luck, intelligence or motivation. I'm asking, I'm not giving this away. The reality is most people need to ask better questions instead of finding the answers. So when I was in my 20s, whole thing around my life was looking for answers. But everything changed for me when I started asking questions instead of looking for answers. And then the obvious answers came to me automatically. Let's imagine two people in the same situation and what type of questions they can ask. One person, he asks, why does this always happen to me? And the other one in the same situation can ask, what is this situation teaching me? So what is happening to the first one, who is basically asking, why does this always happen to me? So you see, your brain works like a search engine, and what it's giving you in the return is directly proportional to the question you ask. So your brain finds evidence of being unlucky, feeling stuck and powerlessness. But on the other hand, if you're asking, what is this situation teaching me? Your brain finds evidence of patterns, lessons and options. It's definitely coming from the one situation leading into the whole different lives. The problem is everybody is outcome of their environments. Most of the questions you are asking in your life is coming from inheritance. How you were brought up, who were your friends from your childhood, who were you sitting with, what are you listening to, what is your Instagram algorithm. All the questions are coming from that environment. So most of the questions that you are asking yourself right now or in daily life is basically the product of everything you have around. So the obvious sources are basically parents, society, what happened in the past failures mostly. Most people never choose their questions, they inherit them, and they can result into low quality questions. But if they are leading to high quality questions, amazing, good for you. But the reason I am discussing about this is you should have control to ask those questions. And what could be the examples of low quality questions? For example, why am I not good enough? The equivalent of Amazon is not for us. We cannot be a big brand on Amazon. What if I mess this up? I won't start more products because maybe I'll fail. Why is this so hard for me? Why Amazon is so hard? Why Amazon is so competitive? Why I'm not the only one selling on this? And what will people think? This is one of the most important questions. What will people think? It is basically coming from the validation, but that's story of another time. So what kind of outcomes you will get? So basically, if your questions are low quality, I won't say they are low quality, but the results you are getting in the end, that will tell if your questions were low quality. But if your life's potential is becoming big, then it means you are asking quality questions. So that is the direct result of that. Nobody can tell you if you were asking good questions or wrong questions, bad questions or right questions, but the outcome will tell all. They don't lie. Let's see the difference between two kind of questions. One is low quality questions. They basically focus on blame, fear, excuses, victimhood. And on the other side, the kind of questions like, what part of this is in my control? The other end is, why is this happening to me? The good type of question is, what broke in the system? The other end, the bad end, is, why did I fail? These are again two different worlds. So this is the direct difference between high quality questions and low quality questions. What actually happens? Low quality questions keep you stuck for a very long time, and high quality questions moves you forward. So I will ask again before ending this video that you need to ask what question you are living in right now. let's move forward. So here are some practical question upgrades that we can apply. For example, if something has failed, it can fail for anyone. The low quality question would be, why did this fail? The high quality question would be, what specifically did not work and how I fix just that part. This is going to be the key factor in that. Another factor, why am I always stuck financially? Which skill or decision is limiting my income right now? The third question, I don't have time. The question you need to be asking is, what am I prioritizing that's stealing my future? That will shift everything for you. So the examples I just gave above, they are leading to one very important part. This part will help you in learning something new. This part will help you in so many things. But here in this example, this is going to change how you see your identity. That is going to create identity shift for you. So the low quality questions basically produce victims and ask questions to feel better. Victims ask questions to feel better. And the example question is, why in my life is this happening to me? And the identity that you create after that is reactive mindset. And on the other side, the good type of question, the quality questions, they create builders and they ask questions to get better, not to feel better. And the example questions are, what am I building with what I have been given? Whatever the resources you have right now, what am I building with what I have been given? This is the key factor. And it creates proactive mindset. It gives you a lot of potential moving forward. So your questions basically reveal your identity, and your identity shape your decisions in a very particular way. So 3 life-changing questions that you need to be asking right now. For clarity, what does success actually look like for me? In project management, we call this definition of done. You cannot say, I want to be Elon Musk, just right there. You need to be someone that is doable in a time frame. You need to define your own definition of done. So the question would be, what does success actually look like for me? Not from society, not from Instagram, but from you. You need to build that journey around this question. So most people chase goals they never define properly, and then they feel stuck. Even though they achieve that, but they will still feel stuck because they have never defined that. The second question, leverage. If I had to solve this with less effort, what would I change? Maybe you can work smarter, not harder. And it forces you to think in systems, not hustle. You know, Instagram loves hustling mindset. It loves hustling stories and everything. But the way they sell it, it's totally false. The third thing, growth. What would the next level version of me do here? So you have reached somewhere, but the next step, the future that is awaiting for you, that requires a new person, a new identity for you, a better version of. So you need to be asking, what would the next level version of me do here? So basically it upgrades your identity before your results catch up. You know, we're talking about future and everything, asking questions, but what could be the daily way of doing it? So when you feel stuck, overwhelmed, emotional, confused, you need to just pause for a second and then ask whatever you're asking right now. The question, the query in your mind, you need to ask, is this a low quality question? And if the answer is yes, you need to reiterate your question in a very particular way, and you need to keep improving this like a muscle. You need to keep practicing on this like a muscle. This brings me to the part where you don't need motivation, you need better internal dialogue. Whatever you see in the world right now, anything that has come to the manifestation, anything you enjoy, the world has gained a lot, and it has come from someone's internal dialogue. You know, as Steve Jobs says, it was created by no better people than you. So again, it's more about the internal dialogue, the internal quest that you have in store for yourself. We need to establish something here, that the realization of things, something that you achieve, it does not happen overnight. It happens in a particular way. But the more important part is the trajectory of your life, the momentum, the positive momentum or the negative momentum. I have mentioned this in my videos again and again, that I love momentum more than money, more than revenue, because that momentum defines where are you going. That shows your potential in a very particular way. So asking questions might not change your life overnight, but it will put your business or your mindset in a trajectory which is leading somewhere. So asking better questions today will give you clarity, focus, hence better decisions that will bring you towards better habits, consistent actions, and then your future will be different from here. You will open a very different outcome of because of your questions. So your life doesn't change overnight, your trajectory does. Real changes happen quietly, consistently. And the question I'm going to leave for you here is, what question am I living inside right now? This should be the question that is going to be the part where you will define everything for yourself. The way I said, I won't give you answers. I'm not here to give you answers, but I'm going to drop more irritation and more questions in this video.